Welcome back to week 2 of my sports betting episodes. I'm going to start off with a week 1 recap. On week 1, I went 6 for 13 overall, so not too bad. I was pretty excited with it. Obviously, 13 for 13 is the goal, but 6 for 13, that's not bad. That's one off from 500. I ended up losing 12.4K, and the magic number to get above now is $276,830. So I moved down a little bit, but I'm pretty excited. I talked to my dad about it because I was excited. I was kind of nerding out about all these numbers, and I was talking to him about it. I was like, man, I almost broke even. I was 12.4K off from breaking even. And he looked at me and he said, "You sound like a true gambler. I almost broke even." So what it's virtual money. But biggest win was definitely the Rockies versus the Reds. The Rockies were not favored to win. They were huge underdogs. Actually, both my underdog bets won. The Yankees ended up winning, and the Rockies ended up winning. But this one, I won a lot of money on that. I could have lost a lot more than 12.4K, but thank you, Colorado. The toughest loss, though, Detroit. I got on here and I got all sentimental. I said, you've got to bet with your brain, not your heart. What did Detroit do? They went out and they won. Statistically, they're not the better team. Statistically, looking at everything across the board, Cleveland should have won that match. Yeah, I could have looked at the pitching matchup and said, you know what, he gave up runs last time. But Cleveland should have won. But it doesn't matter. It's conflicting because the Tigers have been really hot lately, but they lost me virtual money. So, I don't know. Go Detroit. I hope you stay hot. With that being said, this week is the MLB All-Star Week, so there are not games until this Friday. So today I'm going to be betting on the UFC fights coming up in the UFC Fight Night, Lemos versus Jandiroba. First up, I'm going to take Thomas Peters. Clearing the air. Last video, I was constantly looking down. It looked like I was looking in between my legs. I was looking at this right here. I've got all my notes for what to bet on here. This is where I get all those numbers. I can't remember it off the top of my head. I write it down. Now I moved it on the table, so whenever I look, it's just right here. You guys, my numbers. You guys, the numbers. Anyway, first off, I'm taking Thomas Peterson over Muhammad Usman. Peterson has a 20-pound weight advantage in this fight. 20 pounds is nothing to scoff at. From a wrestling standpoint, 20 pounds is a lot of weight. It's a big difference. That happens at these heavier weights. Usman has a lot of power. I watched him on The Ultimate Fighter. He's a power striker, really good at striking. However, most of his fights went to decision. His last 3 fights have went to decision, and I don't see this one going differently, especially with the 20 pounds he is giving up to Peterson. Plus, Peterson has a 44.4 takedown accuracy, and he gets 2.84 takedowns per fight. With the 20 pounds, wrestling is only going to be easier. I see Peterson beating Muhammad Usman. Next up, Haider Emil over Zhang Yong Lee. Lee has much better takedown accuracy, but Emil attempts submissions from his back. Emil also averages 4.73 significant strikes per minute, and Lee averages 2.81. So I think Emil will win this fight on his feet. If he gets taken down, he can work submissions from his back. Either way, Emil should come up with the win in that matchup. Cody Gibson's versus Brian Kelleher. I'm taking Cody Gibson in this one. Brian Kelleher has been finished in his last 3 fights, 2 by submission and 1 by TKO. Cody Gibson, on the other hand, he's gotten 2 submission victories in his last 5 fights. So looking at it like that, I could definitely see Cody Gibson getting a submission finish over Brian Kelleher. Next up, Miranda Maverick versus Diane Barboza. I'm taking Miranda Maverick. Maverick averages 1 more significant strike per minute, and the takedown average is close, but Barboza only has a 25% takedown accuracy. If Barboza does not get takedowns efficiently, that will drain her energy and only open the gap between her and Maverick on the feet. Another big thing is Maverick has more UFC experience. I see Maverick using her experience to get the victory over Diane Barboza. Trey Ogden versus Loik Radzhabov. I'm taking Loik. Loik's takedown average is 6.73. 6.73, and he has a 57.69 accuracy. Loik is going to take Ogden down at some point in this fight. It is going to happen. And that's why I just think he will dominate this match with his wrestling. Next, I'm taking Luana Carolina over Lucy Padalova. This should be a stand-up fight. These fighters don't particularly like to wrestle. It should be a stand-up fight. Lucy has lost her last 2 fights. The momentum is not on her side. So with that, I'm giving the edge to Carolina. Another reason I'm picking Carolina is she has better striking accuracy and averages more significant strikes per minute. So I think Carolina will win this match on her feet. It's going to be a stand and bag, and I give Carolina the edge because of the momentum and her striking. Next, I'm taking Bill Algeo over Doo-Ho Choi. Bill has a better strikes landed per minute, strike accuracy, takedown accuracy, and he has experience with submissions. Choi's last fight was a draw, and he lost the 3 prior, 2 by KO. Choi has not been looking hot. I expect Bill Algeo to have a dominant fight. I'm going to take Bueno Silva over Cody Durden. Silva is on a 3-fight win streak, and those are no 3 regular wins. All of them are by finish, 2 KO and 1 submission. Durden has lost his last match by submission, and with that logic, not only has Durden lost his last match by submission, Silva won his last match with submission. I mean, using that pattern, it looks like if Durden gets on top, it doesn't matter. Even if Durden gets the takedown, Bueno Silva can finish him with a submission. I give Silva the edge in this fight. I'm picking Silva. I'm taking Kanan Kruszewski over Kurt Holobaugh. These are 2 very promising fighters. Both are 4-1 in their last 5. So both are hot, they're riding high, and they are ready to go. It should be an exciting fight. But Kanan is a beast. There's no other way to put it. He's been dominant. He has the reach advantage over Kurt Holobaugh. He also has an advantage in significant strikes landed, takedown average, takedown accuracy, which is 100%, I might add. So if Kanan wants to take this fight to the ground, he will. And he has a higher submission average. I see Kanan dominating this fight. When he dictates where this fight is going to go, he will come out with the win. Sungwood Choi and Steve Garcia. I'm taking Steve Garcia. Choi is only 2-3 in his last 5 fights. He has not been looking too hot. Garcia, on the other hand, is on a 3-match technical knockout streak. He is riding high. Garcia has an advantage in every stat in this matchup except for takedown accuracy. I see Garcia getting a very clear win against Sungwood Choi. Next up, I'm taking Jung Park over Brad Tavares. Brad, again, like Choi, is only 2-3 in his last 5 fights. Meanwhile, Park is 4-1 in his last 5. His one loss was by split decision. So even his loss was a close fight. He's on a roll, and it's not going to stop here. Expect a striking matchup where Park comes out on top. And last but certainly not least, the main event between Verna Jandiroba and Amanda Lemos. I'm taking Jandiroba. Verna Jandiroba has never been finished. In her 23 professional MMA fights, she has never been finished. Lemos lands one more significant strike per minute, but Vince is just as accurate striking. I do give Lemos the edge on her feet. However, Verna is a submission specialist. If Verna gets it to the ground, she will win. And I'm putting that bet on Verna's experience on the ground. So those are my picks for this week's fight card. We'll see how it shakes out. Thanks for listening.